Noemi? I can see you've joined. Can't quite hear you if you're talking. Can't hear. Can you hear me now? Testing, testing. Welcome back. Can you hear me? Oh no. No?
Hey, Jessica, can you hear me?
Ah, yes.
Yes. I don't know what was wrong, but the sound just didn't work at all. And then when I hung up again, all of a sudden it worked. So I'm glad. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, great. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate you taking time out of your evening to do this.
No problem at all. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, it's okay. No worries at all. So I'm gonna put in a link into the chat there. Okay, so this is one part of the entire Curation app that we're building, just to have that for your availability to explore later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I talked with you earlier in the year, last winter, for some feedback on like what you think you as a curator would like to see in an application like this. And now we have the products to be able to show you.
Yay.
Still in its very early stages in terms of development. So I'm gonna share my screen right now so that you can see the prototype. I'm going to do this one. Okay. Are you able to see it okay?
Yes, I can see it.
Perfect. Okay, so what you're seeing here is, so we were talking earlier about this idea of channels, and these channels would be a content repository for any kind of educational content that you want to remix and take from other existing channels like Khan Academy or CK12, or other ones that will be available on the content curation app. So these would hold that content. You could personalize it with an organization logo, etc. So entering into one of these, you would be able to, actually I'll show you this picture because it's a little bit better. So you would be able to organize topics and content here. And it would, each hierarchy level would progressively go out to the right. You'd be able to drag and drop between layers. And when you click add, you would be able to create folders, mass upload files, create exercises, preview it, and continue on to edit metadata. Or if you want to explore online channels, you can do that. So yeah, so I'll just stop here to ask you if this kind of interface would have helped you when you were curating content for us a while ago.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So a disclaimer, I haven't done content curation since early this year. So I'm getting back into it. But I mean, thinking back to the way I did it very basically. I mean, I did everything in Windows Explorer with files there. And then I had to create metadata files in order to add descriptions and things like that. So this is this looks really nice because it looks like it's a lot easier to organize things and organize different layers and see the different layers at the same time. Where I would have had to click through to see another layer, you have it next to each other, which is really nice. And how does it work in terms of adding metadata? I mean, that basically you can just put in the properties immediately, I suppose, when you add something, right?
I'm going to change windows here. This is just a static mockup, but it's, let me navigate over here. Okay, so once you upload, or select the content that you'd like to upload from your computer, it would display here, probably in the file structure that you loaded in, and then you'd be able to select accordingly and edit the metadata accordingly.
Wow, that is so cool and much more time saving than the way that I did it with creating a separate metadata file. No, and then making sure that the metadata file and the actual file have the exact same file name and all those kinds of things. So you get rid of that whole extra bit. And I mean, even though it's easy work and you can do it fairly quickly, it would still take an hour to do 14 files carefully and making sure that everything's correct. So this would definitely save a lot of time.
That was painful.
It was painful.
Yeah, we've had a few other partners where we've had to do the same process. So we're like, no more. We need this tool. So
no, yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it did work, of course, and we got some extra help, which was really nice. And in the end, we do now have over 350 resources that are available, but it took a lot of time. So this definitely seems to be combining those steps into just one place, and you can easily go back and edit, and you don't have also the danger of misnaming a file. I get that was one of the things I was worried about and sometimes went wrong, which I could then see on the tablet, because we put the resources on a tablet, and then if the file name of the metadata file and the actual file were not exactly the same, then it wouldn't show up. So we had that problem a couple times. So you also get rid of that danger. So that's really nice. Yeah.
Great. Sounds great. Is there anything, like in terms of ways to categorize content? So we're thinking of being able to categorize things by grades, subjects, etc. But we're trying to ask our curator partners what they would like to see, because we're going off of like kind of generalized, looking at other platforms. Okay, they're using this, but we want to like hear from people who actually do the curation to see like what is important to them while they're doing this kind of categorization.
Yeah, it's a good question. And so maybe, I guess the advantage of having it in Windows Explorer, perhaps, I ended up having it in different, I did end up having it in different places, organized in different ways. So I would have the original files in one place where I would have all the mother tongue files, for example, in the local languages of South Sudan. And then to prepare them for, with metadata for the tablet, I would then reorganize them according to grade, but still in mother tongue files. So is there a way on this platform of easily maybe seeing all the content in one category and then sorting by another category? So for example, seeing all the mother tongue content in one go, regardless of grade, and then organizing it by grade. So changing views. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it might be helpful to do that. So
I see.
Yeah. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, that's really interesting. We haven't thought of filtering, like this kind of filtering thing within this local curation app, but I can see the use case of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not absolutely necessary. Like, if you know, I mean, if you're doing the content curation, you know where you've stored it, so it's it's probably not necessary. But if you were to further develop it, maybe it would be a nice feature to add to make to make things even more flexible. And
Okay, noting down for the future.
And then in terms of adding folders and adding content, if you have, I guess you can add folders and content on the same level, or can you only add folders on one level and then you go to all content on the next level?
Yeah, so this interface is a little bit more accurate in terms of how that would be. So you would have, this is a little bit more updated. So you have an overall like add. You could create folders within this kind of like adding area, and you'd be able to kind of rearrange what you're preparing to add to the platform before it goes in there, and you kind of dragging and dropping everywhere.
Okay. And so you are able to drag and drop. You don't just have to press the copy to and delete buttons or things like that.
Right. Yeah. So these buttons are here for if anyone's on a mobile device. Dragging and dropping is a little more difficult. So just a little more importance.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So this would be possible to do on a mobile device as well, then.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Exactly.
And maybe another question, are you able to easily switch to, because this is kind of the back end, seeing how it all works, but are you then also able to switch to the user's view quite easily to see, just to make sure that you have done it properly?
Luckily, we have a preview tab.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful, I'm sure.
Whoa. That's what's happening. Yeah, so this is kind of like how students would be able to see the content. This isn't how it would render, still in the works, but you'd be able to see various, whoa, music.
Very cool.
Yeah, so you'd be able to see the content within here, be able to see metadata as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But then so the user would see that preview, or would they then go straight to the full screen? I'm just curious.
It would go to full screen. Sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yeah. Yes. No. Because we saw the video just on the side. With your.
Yes. Yeah. So that would be able to kind of open up. Oh, there we go. Cool.
Oh yeah. Okay. Very cool. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So all these documents would be able to do that.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, this is adding content. Now what I kind of want to we also have the ability to create exercises, and I also wanted to get your feedback on that as well, because right now we have our partners able to make multiple choice, true and false, and free response questions, but we're trying to figure out what might be sort of other good formats to allow people to create questions in. If you have any insight on that.
Yeah, it's a good question. We didn't use exercises, although it would have been really nice to do, just because it wasn't feasible for us. Yeah, I mean, those are definitely 3 very good ones to start with. Thinking of what we would want to use, we'd probably also work with multiple choice, free response, maybe. What was the third one that you mentioned? Sorry.
So there's multiple choice, true, false, and free response.
True, false. Is there also, included in the multiple choice, is there an option of, for example, matching up certain things, having a list of 3 options and another list of 3 options, and then saying, okay, that corresponds to that and that corresponds to that, or is that would be something else?
No, we don't have that. That does sound like a type of variation of multiple choice.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting. I'll bring that up to our team about that kind of format.
Yeah, just thinking in terms of the exercises that we got them to do more on paper, that was one of them. So giving them a word and having them match it up with a definition. Although you could then, of course, break that down into a multiple choice, pure multiple choice format, where you just give them a word and give them 3 different definitions. But then sometimes it's nice to have them match them up rather than give them 4 different multiple choice questions like that.
Right, yeah.
So that would be the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah. Can't think of anything else.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I can bring this up to our team. Cool. So, I also didn't mention the clipboard here. So this would allow someone, if they don't know where they want to put their content yet, it's just kind of like a holding space for it.
Oh.
So they can upload and then kind of drag and drop later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is kind of like what you were talking about earlier when you said you have your original files for Sudan in one place and then you just want to put it in. So it would eliminate the need of like having the Windows Explorer kind of just on the side in back of your browser or something hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. It's really nice. Cool. Yeah. And one other question actually that reminds me of, is it easy to duplicate files and put them in various locations?
Yes. So this would actually say copy to.
Okay.
In which case you could copy to, it'd show up a list, and it's a copy to clipboard or a list of the other channels you've created.
Yeah.
And then you can, from there, you can choose like a place within that channel to move it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it would, yeah, I'm not sure how that would work for within the channel. I guess copying to the clipboard is the easiest thing. You know, select, copy, and then drag and drop into another place later if you want.
Yeah. But that then raises the question, if you change the metadata of one of those, say you have three copies of the same file in 3 different locations, and you change the metadata of one of them, would it automatically change the metadata for all of them?
Good question. I guess that's how we, that depends on how we save it in the system.
Okay. Because that would, of course, be ideal, because most likely you'd want to keep it the same, but, and that would save you from having to go through and changing them all.
Right.
If it's possible.
Yeah, no, it makes sense that all of the metadata should be preserved when you copy it. And then leave room for editing, say they want to add a tag for it or take out a tag as appropriate or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or reassign grades or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I mean, sometimes actually it may be useful to have, well, no, actually we kept the same tags across the different grades. I'm just thinking, for example, if we had a metadata, a mother tongue language file that we had in 3 different grades, we would have the same tags for them all, but we would just duplicate. So we would say grade 2 and grade 3. Okay, so I guess that's why I'm thinking of keeping the metadata files or the metadata information exactly the same. But then, of course, some people may want to have the same file with only the grade 2 tag in one place, and then the same file with only the grade 3 tag in another place. So I guess it depends on the user and what they'd like to do. If it would be beneficial to have the metadata be edited across all the 3 copies or be different. Yeah, but I guess you have to choose one or the other. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to design for all of these different flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then I guess you just have to go with one and then inform people. If you want it differently, well, sorry, then you need to go the long way. But I mean, even if they need to go the long way, this is already saving a lot of time. So.
Right.
Yeah. One other question, actually, looking at the list under Khan Academy. Say you have a lot of files in one list. Is that, I don't know what that would look like. Would that be really overwhelming to scroll through? Or I guess it also depends on how big each of these boxes are. And the first 2 are pretty big, and then the last 2 are pretty small. So have you thought about that?
Oh, yes. This is something that I also wanted to ask you about. So we do have right now the ability to see name and description, but in terms of like curator purposes, it might be more beneficial, since the curator probably knows their content pretty well. It might be better to just have like an icon that could differentiate the different types of like things that are in here between folders, videos, etc., and then just the name, and then have to be super small to scroll through. And then it seems more appropriate to have a preview, like have the name and description, because the student is the one that's going to need to like be able to see this kind of information. So yeah, that's good that you bring that up. This is something that we're struggling with, because as you can see here, there's a lot of for the curator, it might turn out to be a pain.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I think as a curator, I would be fine with just having the icon and then having the name, the title, not name. I don't think the description would be necessary, because you would know your content. But then, for the preview, definitely it's useful to see both.
Okay, perfect.
And actually, for the preview, is it only the name and description that you show, or does that depend on the
Depends
Yeah.
on the content. So right now we only have name and description for folders. We're kind of
Oh,
uncertain as to like what other kind of metadata would be necessary for it, because we
yeah.
were thinking you could tag it, but then it seems doesn't. I'm not sure what like how useful it would be, because it seems like tags are more important for the content. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but definitely content would have the metadata. Whoa, whoa. That's bug. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice. Wow, this looks so nice. I'm so excited. No, it really looks cool. I mean, everything that you showed me is really exciting. So well done.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, we're really excited to keep moving forward with this.
Yeah, I can imagine. No, it's really cool. Yeah.
So this is, yeah, these are, I think that's everything in the curation, local curation tool. What I'd like to show you now though is, let's see, actually this is a better model to show you. So we have this ability when you're adding stuff to also be directed to explore channels if you have an internet connection. There's 2 links you can get to that from.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll show you that's you now. So if you go over, so if you want to find content that someone else has already published, you'd be prompted with this search bar and have the ability to filter initially by all of these different types of things. And so I want to show this to you to see what you thought, if some of these seem unnecessary, if it's appropriate.
Good question. So this will search all the channels that are linked to Colibri or Khan Academy online. Is that right?
Oh, so I guess in the Discover, oh, this shouldn't be here,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Right, yeah, whoops. So yeah, this would be app-wide, so everything that has been uploaded.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. Subject and language. I mean, it depends. Sometimes the language may not be very appropriate, but for us, for example, language would be useful.
Okay.
Subject is definitely good.
Yeah, but I guess like in your practice as a curator and in your past experiences, has there been a case where you look for content to integrate within what you're doing, or for you was it mostly your instructional team or something that creates the content and you kind of just put it together? Or I'd love to know more about how
wait, how we got our content?
Right. Yeah. If it's more, if it's mostly you guys creating it, or do you guys source anything from anywhere else?
We sourced a lot of stuff from other places. Actually, most of the stuff that we sourced were from other organizations. We did have a number of things that were created by War Child previously, but that was none of us still around. So that also meant we would review it just like we would review the other things for quality and relevance. So yeah, for example, I mean, we had a good 10 to 15, I think, content providers. So from our perspective, for example, maybe instead of having author, having the organization that provided the content would be relevant for us.
Okay.
But yeah, no, most of it was from elsewhere. In various different languages. Yes, sorry.
Okay. So when you were given access to this content, how was it presented to you? And like, I guess, how would you explore that content to kind of like figure out how you want to deliver it to whoever was going to use it?
It was mostly, presented to us as in shared with us.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
It was mostly, files were sent to us by WeTransfer, by CD, by by external hard drive. So we just got a whole bunch of files. Sometimes we were told that we could just download things from the internet, or we were able to download things from the internet, like PDFs and things like that. So then we had to do the added job of going to find it and download it. And then it was a matter of, to get familiar with the content, going through the individual things. It's also to be able to know how to describe it, what tags to give it, and things like that. Yeah. And some content providers had little, or it was very predictable what they were giving, so it was quite easy to label and sort and things like that. And others we had to spend a bit more time getting familiar with.
Okay, got it. So when you were organizing this content, then were you like motivated to organize these things based on like standards that were given to you by somebody else, or did you kind of look at the content and then decide like, okay, this could be arranged in this way to teach?
You mean how to check? Do you mean how we checked for quality and relevance, or how we organized it?
So I guess like when you're organizing this content, are you like trying to fill in like gaps based on like what is needed by standards that have already been set, or is it kind of just like you organizing like on the spot what you think might be best fit?
Okay, I think I got it. Although by standards that were already set, you mean standards in terms of the type of content we're looking for?
I guess standards in terms of someone like designing like an instructional.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see what you mean.
Educational in like a traditional school setting or something like that. Sorry, yeah, I should have clarified.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I was just thinking in the wrong way. That's all. I see what you mean. So it's a good question. I guess. So maybe I should explain. We use this content we gave this content to teachers for their use in order to improve their teaching practice. So, and we didn't prescribe so much like you need to go through these things and you need to complete these things and read these things and watch these videos. It was quite open to them to be able to pick and choose the kind of content that would be relevant to them. So in that sense, we didn't have like a learning trajectory that we wanted them all to follow, where we would have had more of an idea of, okay, we need to make sure that this is covered, and then that they move on to this, and then they move on to that. Was that kind of what you were thinking of?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so then our approach was quite different, where if we would have had that approach, of course, we would have said, okay, we need to find things that are on this area. Of course, we were still looking for content on a certain area, but we were then freer, and we just wanted to see what's out there and see how it's relevant. So we knew, for example, we had 5 areas of teacher professional development that we needed to populate with content. So we tried to find as much as was possible that was relevant for those 5 areas. But it wasn't, so we searched more by theme then, for example, rather than by content that builds on each other over time.
Okay, got it.
Does that help and answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, just to note, I mean, sometimes we found things that were spot on, and sometimes it was just really difficult to find anything. So certainly some areas we have much less content on than other areas. And another note, we are going through we've had a midterm evaluation, and we're now in the process of doing a final evaluation. And it seems that the teachers haven't used the app as much as we would have hoped, and haven't used the content as much as we would have hoped. So then perhaps the approach that we've taken, which I described to you, of more letting them choose what's relevant for them, perhaps they do need something more structured, or at least they need more guidance on how to choose for themselves. So just a note.
I see. Yeah. I kind of want to bring it back to what you were talking about, of how you kind of judge and the relevance of content that you're looking at. Because I would assume that you have a lot to filter through, and you kind of just give a set amount of time before you decide whether something should, whether. So I was wondering if you could describe that kind of mental process when or looking through content. Like what kind of checklists maybe you have in your mind when you're looking at something.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I wrote something out quite specifically around that many months ago. I'll try to find that while I talk you through it. And if it's of any relevance, I can send it to you as well. But thinking.
I guess before that though, I just wanted to show you this to kind of prompt. So I want to show the content in a way that allows the curator to filter through and just see as much as they can, or as much as is relevant. And decide whether or not they want to view it further, to see if they want to integrate it within their channel. Yeah, just to prime you.
Yeah. Oh, nice. This looks pretty cool too. Yeah, good question. So how did I go through it? I mean, definitely one of the first questions was, is this even on a topic that is relevant? And if so, where does it fit? So where does it fit in terms of theme? Is it more professional development for teachers, or is it a teaching material that they can use with their students? And if it was teaching material, which grade does it fall under and which subject? And is the subject relevant? Because we focused on English, maths, science, and mother tongue. And if it was professional development, did it fall under one of those 5 categories that we chose?
Okay.
That would be the first check. And usually we'd know that before even opening the document or whatever it was, because we would have been familiar with how it was sold to us, or the description we had read online or whatever. And then the next thing would be to glance through it and see, and then evaluate it in several different ways. Definitely one important thing was, is it clear and simple? There were some things that were just quite poor quality and that they weren't very clearly written, so then that would be out. Also, is it not using language that's too difficult, since we're working with teachers who speak English as a second or third or fourth language. So if that became clear quite quickly that wasn't the case, then it would be out. Sometimes from an technical education perspective, things weren't fully sound, or that would be another question. Does this make sense educationally or not? And if not, it would be out as well. What other things? Also, culturally relevant was quite important to us. Is this culturally at least somewhat relevant to the context of South Sudan, or is it just completely different?
Right. Yeah.
Although there I took a risk once or twice. I don't know if you're familiar with teachingchannel.org, I think.
No, I'm not.
No, they have a lot of videos of teachers while teaching and things like that, and on a lot of different themes. And they have some really nice, I think it's American. So all the classrooms you see are American. So extremely not so relevant for South Sudan. but they had a few nice short videos of ideas for teachers of what they could do in the classroom. And so I took the risk of putting 2 or 3 of those videos on just to see from the usage data later if anyone would have gone to see it. And, you know, maybe they would have looked at it and thought, oh, this is not relevant to me. Or maybe some of them would have been able to say, okay, this is not a classroom that looks like mine, but the idea is one that I can consider. So I have yet to find out how that went. But mostly, of course, we would have wanted things that were culturally relevant. So that was a big factor as well. Yeah. What else? I'm probably missing 1 or 2 things, but those are the things that I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, this is golden.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem.
Let's see, what else is there? So I guess I can just walk you through some of the other features that are in this prototype I'm showing here. So you'll be able to see where content comes from.
Yeah.
A particular channel. I showed you this earlier. You can preview exercises, see different questions, answer, kind of explore them and experiment with them. If you like it, you can take it.
Nice.
Let's see. Just to show you like consistency between previewing different types of content. So this is like a video file, shows you like some metadata on it. Oops.
Yeah, that's useful.
Yeah. Ratings, etc. And let's see. You'll be able to save channels. So this is similar to YouTube's kind of subscribing.
Yeah. Okay.
Save it to like a list up here, bookmarks, and it's just kind of a feed where you can see like, okay, this has been updated. I could probably check it out and see what's in there or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see, exploring. If you want to check out a channel, see pretty much the same metadata that was up there on the card. Search within it, filter through, and find something specific.
Yeah.
View the folders. So instead of kind of the sidebar design that was in the World Child Holland software that you guys had, we're thinking of having this more page by page, where you have like a breadcrumb up here, and kind of exploring through and being able to limited to this to be able to see all the different metadata easily. Similarly, you can preview things here and be able to select things and import it over. And here you would just be able to select where it should go. So it's going into the clipboard. Just explain what it is.
Yeah, nice.
Selecting content and putting it in specific places. So you can kind of put it in multiple places if you wanted to. And then once you're done, various action items of what you want to do next.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so this is all in the link that I shared, so you can look through it later.
Yeah,
well.
I will be happy to go and explore.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's Curation app in its entirety.
Wow. That is really cool. No, it looks really, really nice. And I mean, it also looks clear, user-friendly, lots of different options. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. But yeah, if there's anything else that you could think of in terms of different ways to filter content, metadata, etc.
Good question. So you mean looking at the different options that you had if you scroll up a bit farther?
Right, yeah. So these or just looking through.
Or here, yeah.
Things or just overall, if there's anything missing from this application that you would see, that you think would be useful in your curation process if you were to do this all over again.
Yeah. Good question. I mean, just looking at the view that we have right now, I really like the way that it gives a lot of metadata. So you're able to see in one go, you know, the length of the video and also all the different tags because they're really useful. And I think the filters that you can choose are also really good. I mean, with it also, if you put anything in the tags, then that will help you find what you're looking for as well. If you need something like a standard or something like that. Trying to think more generally about anything that I would feel is missing. I can't really think of anything at the moment. I think a lot of the things that slowed me down or the frustrations are addressed, like we talked about earlier. So, I mean, especially for me, the biggest challenge was always the metadata. So this platform has really helped make that a lot easier. What I could do is I could, I'll mull it over a bit more. And if I come up with anything that I think, oh yes, would be really crucial and I didn't see that, then I can always send you an email. But for now, I can't think of anything
fantastic. Oh, on the link I shared, there's this discuss tab.
Oh, okay.
So much. So you can add a topic if you want and add some notes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so love that that's there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So if I have any other feedback, I can add it there. Very cool. Okay, will do.
Yeah. Yeah, do you have any other questions about the curation tool? I'm happy to answer anything else that you're curious about.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, well, no, not really. I mean, I think you've given a nice overview of it. But I guess moving forward, you'll be working with this platform whenever you work with someone who has to do content curation, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so
later
no matter. Sorry?
Oh, and yeah, later it would be like integrated with the overall like Libri platform where they can download it and share it with their learners.
Yeah. Very cool. No. Yeah. No, I don't think I have any other questions. If I come up with anything, I'll shoot you an email.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. No, but it's been really.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for showing me. It's really cool. I remember giving the feedback or talking through this a long time ago about, oh, what would you like to see? And I really wondered what you guys would do and what the result would be, how it might look. Yeah, how something easier might look. And it looks really cool. So it was really nice to get a glimpse into what you guys have been working on and the result of it. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, I'll let you go now.
Thanks. Let you go too. Have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, you too. Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.